There's no better place to be except here on Signature TV and watching Southeast News. Welcome to the Maiden Edition. In the headlines, Nigerian youths missing, especially in the Southeast, as the international community celebrates youth. Still in the Southeast, where we belong, you'll discover that the youths have 70% of the population, and that number is under 30, and 42% is under the age of 15. But before we go further on that, I am Barry Kumo Ado, and with me in the studio is a man who believes that the youth is vital, the youth is great, and the youth needs the energy or the energizing power to ensure that they are innovative, creative, and can achieve the impossible. Francis Eze, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, as a head farmers aggregator in Enugu State and one of those who believe that women and youth should be the centerpiece of everything we do in Nigeria, what would you say made us miss celebrating the youth?
In a nutshell, the same thing that made us miss ourselves in the midst of every other person has just repeated itself again. We are being lost as youths out there hardly remember themselves, have less information about what yesterday was to start with. The same way they get lost of themselves and their aims and objectives. We're in a situation where we are naturally confused about what tomorrow will bring. We'll work hard to earn nothing, to understand that we're in a place where we lack enabling environment to strive. And we wouldn't say the government has been doing well, but we all know, even a blind man knows they need to do more, because for the case of the youth, I can say as a youth, I've not seen their works and their strengths in better tomorrow of the youth's life. The youth needs to be sensitized again. There should be an awareness of reawakening the youths in itself. Look at Nigeria as a case study, where we have over 70% of our youths and the biggest, largest in the world. By that expression, we should be producing food for the world. We should be the strength of the world. But the reverse is the case. And historically, Nigeria has not stopped moving backwards, if I could say that. Because at the 80s, it seems to be better than the centuries or than the 21st century is now. It is just so unfortunate that I can tell you that nobody has cared for the youth, and the youth himself has failed to care for themselves.
Why is that so?
When the basic needs, basic fundamental needs are not kept in place, where a voice has been failed to be heard, where no one wants to hear you express your grievances for not being heard, when the basic things are being misplaced and actually everybody wants to misinterpret you for expressing yourself, you get yourself lost. Or just like people who has a clothes tying our eyes that will hardly see our directions, we just gaze around the system. And the fundamental place we stood from climbing to the youth are faulty. Coming from our education sector, we are groomed to come out to look for job, not to create job. And they tie a lot of times of our youthful time there. And we don't like innovations even when they should come in the midst of troubles and trials. People that should bring it are reluctant. How can you celebrate the youth yesterday when the youth you want to celebrate is suffering from hunger currently?
But is it not in the heat of difficulties that innovation come to play?
Yes, I agree. But you need to be alive to testify the innovation. And the innovation that you're bringing, that you lack the capacity to make it here. when no one else wants to hear your voice, when it takes you, when you want to shout for people to hear it, they point a finger at you and call you a rebel because you're requesting for the basic amenities.
Let me just basically take you out of the Southeast. Just over the weekend, we had the news where some youths in Kano State, to be exact, are producing what? Something that's relevant for everybody who has a phone. A charger.
Yeah?
In the same midst of difficulties. So are we saying that in some part of Nigeria, we have taken a back seat, only looking at the difficulties, but not looking at how to surmount those difficulties, thinking creatively and innovatively?
Not really. I beg to differ. There are always a good news in the midst of everything, but the percentage is slow. You know, when you have talk about innovations and things like this, when the elite introduce it, the world will follow. When there's an enable environment for the youth, you can go to East, for example, go to our markets, go to our artisans places. I can bet you in Agric we don't normally import machines again. So our youth there doing it, fabricating it locally. You can go to YouTube, you see where youth is producing keke na paper and all whatnot. Well, after doing that, who takes up from there? The idea dies there. Because with some ideas that are put to bed needs to be funded, needs to be scrutinized and funded. And nobody picks it from there. It's a baby, and when this cold comes and rain comes, baby dies off. In the midst of all these things, there are some youths who are privileged to come from the elites, who are privileged to has vision with science. They are doing their best. But what is the number? It's a case of number. At what percentage is doing this? At what percentage is hungry, doing nothing? Because if there are enabled environments for circulation, there should be equal activity. If we had someone who had put the youth of today needs sensitization, they need to reawake, to know themselves, know what they possess, know that the growth of Nigeria is on their shoulders, that they should that the retirees are looking up to them for betterment. Then in return, they should be playing environments. There is no, you can't tell me in Nigeria that we're suffering hunger. I can't understand it, but that's just reality. Because if every youth has a space of garden in the back of his house, when I was born, I was growing, we had garden in our house. We don't be demanding the groceries for everything.
So why did we miss the way?
The process gets faulty. Like I said before, the lives of the 80s are far better than the lives of the centuries, which is opposite dimension from the rest of the world. Every place is growing forward, somehow, directing backwards. Practically, not theoretically. Theoretically, we'll speak English, we'll clap for ourselves. But when we leave the grammar, what happens? What happens behind the camera?
So where can we stop the fall?
Beautiful. If we have this, first of all, I want to appreciate Signature TV for things like this. And I want to encourage them who need sensitization. We need to bring the youth to know that in midst of all these things, that's why they are youth. They have the muscles to juggle the problems and the trials of the country and still be in their feet to be active. I can tell you why we have so many unemployed youths. Not really unemployed youths. Let me start by saying so many unproductive youths. Because they don't have the knowledge to be productive. The YX you read in university was not meant to bring food on your table. Sciences are good, but we lack practical activity. Just for example, in the sector of agriculture, we are still in this 21st century talking about mechanized farming, when the world has moved into hydroponic farming. When the innovation came many years ago to farm in bags, since there are lacks of land in the East, we're not employing it.
But do we really lack lands in the East?
We don't really lack land. They disagree. There is enough land, but we have land tenure system problem in the East. You know, the East Valley has this high value of lands and prestige over land ownerships, and they're actually idle doing nothing.
Okay, so it gave growth to the hydroponic system.
Yes.
So, but do we have enough awareness?
That's the problem. We don't have enough awareness. We need to be sensitized. There are basic things I believe should go back to our school curriculum from secondary school days. Not in this life that somebody will finish JSS2, JSS3 without a skilled work. How the person want to face society? When the Western one has made in place work and study, think they are stupid? We want to just study everything and become professor before start looking for work. Go outside the doors, you see your keke drivers are all graduates. That's the servant of the government. I'll still come to that. But I'm talking about the youth ourselves, because the problem is of a two sides of coin. The one coin is the government, which is our biggest problem. The other coin is the other face of the coin is ourselves, which is the main problem. Because when you determine and understand who you are, what you will, you do the ones you can do to be able to hold accountable for the remaining ones that you're looking for. So I believe how to repair this. First, sensitization awareness. We need to encourage the youth. We need to tell them the basic way of life. When there are shifts in life, analog to digital age, computer age, they should move along. You don't just assume they will without sensitizing them, without bringing it to their doorsteps. They should hear it that would depend. When a man knows the family looks upon him to feed him, he gives him strength to go out and work more. When the youth begin to understand that the world needs them to make this place a better place, they have no other choice than go back and do more. We need to be sensitized. We need to be encouraged. We need to know that we need to be alive to face the future. And we have our floods, our negative distraction from social media, internet system, where that we're meant to get graces, we are busy distracting ourselves with them. These are things that sensitization will help us guide us well, while a lot of us are not properly guided in the activities or phases of life. That's why where we are. Then the other coin that is most important is enabling an environment that we've not gotten anywhere in the world. How I wish we look into it properly. The elites, the governments, wherever you're governing, what department and what right you are, even from the family sector, the father in the house, we are still putting analog system in this 21st century. I'm going to give you an example. I was shocked when I met a family friend daughter learning how to go and plait hair at this long-term holidays. I was like, how can I tell the father that you're just being insane? Skills are good, but there are skills that have grown time and space. Today, people go to the Google and learn how to plait hair at home. We should be learning things that are digital and like, so we can fit in with the pace of time. But how they're not aware. There's no awareness of such. Even the system where they study is backwards, a cake. How can we using the same thing that we've used in decades of years and has done nothing while still making use of it?
So let's take you back a bit, because we are looking at now various ways of changing the narrative for the youth. And if it happens for the youth, definitely it's going to be better for Nigeria.
Exactly.
You've noticed that the theory and practice in the education system is not impacting positively on development.
Currently.
What have you done with your NGO to change that narrative? Have you gone to, for example, the Ministry of Education to make a case to show that if we continue to tour this path, even in the next 10 years, we'll still produce graduates that cannot stand on their feet anywhere, with enough statistics to prove your point?
Yes.
Have you done that?
Thank you very much. Currently at VNV, Vital Vibrant Youth and Women Initiative, it's a house for the youthful mind and the youth itself. We've not gone to Ministry of Education because I will believe you cannot change the system from one set. And people has pointed to the system what they should do, they didn't do it. So what we're doing currently, we're growing a program we call Door to Door Catch Them Young in Agric for the youth in the universities, where we approach the rectors. We're writing off an agreement, a memorandum with some universities. I don't want to call their name on air because I've not signed yet. We're telling them, fix us in your curriculum. Let's take the burden and train these people into agric as a business, not even as a culture. We have introduced crowdfunding. Your small 10,000 gives you a beneficial hectares of agric and cassava production. We're pushing into vegetables farming, hydroponic activity. We've been preaching and pushing into sand innovations in farming with back sands. So you don't have time to go to the bush. That small portion space, even in your room, beside your window outdoor, can give you enough cucumber to keep you healthy, can give you enough garden. You don't go to the market to buy vegetables you use in your kitchen. It's a culture we need to put. If we understand at the tender age, as they're learning how to read and write, they are learning that I should provide basic amenity for myself legitimately. Believe me, the other system of the brain that has been dead, that has been used to depending on receiving points, will start activating and creative and bringing income and betterment to the country. So we're doing that currently, and we're bent to meet every universities. It's a very sweet and pleasant program. It's because it's crowdfunding activity. Glory be to God, we are done with our partnership with BOA, Bank of Agriculture, who is willing to help them because the hunger is a problem. There's a popular saying that says a hungry man is an angry man. So when there's food on your table, when you have this conviction that it's food on my table, you do more better in learning whatever you're learning. But it's not just about food, it's not just about farming. There are production, there are processing, there are packaging, there are marketers. And apart from this, 5 years ago, we won a program, we do skill acquisition program, where we train over 5,000 youths in different sectors of skills. We did in fabric design, sewing, fashions. We did in barber salons, hairstylists, and all whatnot. These ones we did for secondary school people. We believe that is when you should have this. When I was growing, I was convinced that my elder sisters never went to a shop to plait their hair. Their friends played them. They interwoven themselves and played their hair. That's at that time there is a under home economics in primary schools. They have skills when they learn how to plait hair in the school. They learned it there. It helped them. But today, what is it in the curriculum? It has been taken off.
So you're calling for a review of the school curriculum.
God bless you. And a practical way where students fills the practical business sector. After the grammar, let them have a feel, just like what will happen in the Western world when you're allowed to work and study. You can start, everybody should start from where they are to start doing something.
Okay. Francis is a Chief Executive Officer, Vital Vibrant Youth and Women Initiative, Head Farmers Aggregator, Enugu State. Thank you for coming on to Southeast News. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we need to find out what is happening. The forthcoming election in Anambra State, some people are saying it is just a tactic that is undemocratic. Stay tuned to Southeast News. Welcome back. We told you about the claim that Anambra State's local government election scheduled for 28th of September is a plan not to be inclusive, but we'll hold that story for now. Chinemerem Ikebenam is here with me in the studio. But before I have the opportunity to speak with her, let's turn our attention to that report, Chinemerem, you sent in concerning the PDP ward primaries that took place yesterday.
At New Haven Primary School, one of the wards where consensus was not achieved, the atmosphere was charged with energy and anticipation. Residents gathered in large numbers, eager to show their support for their preferred candidates. Stakeholders highlighted the importance of selecting a local candidate for the councillorship position, stressing the need for someone who truly represents the New Haven community. Tony Nwachuku, a prominent party stakeholder, noted a significant shift within the party in New Haven Ward 10, describing it as a revolution that could have a profound impact on the party's future. He emphasized that this change should not be overlooked by the state government.
Before now, the party doesn't enjoy this type of support base, membership turnout. The party doesn't. It was kind of a trouble lucky whatever. So what you are seeing today is because we worked very hard and we have freed the party. And I want the government of Enugu State, the PDP-led state government, under the leadership of Peter Mba, to acknowledge what the revolution that is going on in New Haven.
Because the people in New Haven want a person that is staying in New Haven. You can't be in a Peninsula or GRA or Ababa. You come and via election in New Haven, which people do not accept. We want a person that belongs to New Haven, that can stand for the New Haven. In case of our next election, the person can mobilize for the PDP and know that the person has a people that wants him to be there.
Last week we had a meeting with the governor. He asked us to go to the ward. We should do a kind of selection, nomination, and where we didn't do that, where the contestant refused to do that, what we should do is to come to the field and do the election. That is the more reason why we are here. So we are going to start the Congress by doing option A4.
The four contenders each took the stage to outline their intentions and plans if elected.
For years now, New Haven have been organized, and for now, the way they are treating people in New Haven, we want to organize New Haven so that we will become one.
Because we have people, as Ndibo said, the others say, I were a mad, you were a mad. And every hand about Kawaii, so I stand the slogan of Kawaii, because men have been going on these things for 21 years. And now this time I say Kawaii.
I have 6 agendas as my manifesto: security, education, drainage system that is bad, healthcare, roads, road maintenance, and street lights.
To make sure that New Haven is a center of attraction in Enugu North. So if we can advance New Haven in terms of putting security cameras, street lights, to make it to be defined New Haven.
In the end, Emeka Nwoje emerged as the victorious candidate, becoming the party's new flag bearer for the councillorship in the ward.
I will start from the first person, Amaka Ene. She scored the total vote of 226 votes. Clap for her. Then I want the second person, Emeka Nwoje, who scored the total vote of 347. Then I want the third person, which is Ifi Yama, who scored 293. 3 persons was not counted when we are rounding up. So that makes it 293. So in a whole, Emeka Nwoje scored the highest vote, which is 347.
Nwoje expressed his gratitude to the community and pledged to work diligently with both local and state governments to ensure effective leadership.
believe na ya ji wepụta bụ ka new heaven wee dị mma apụtara na nkịtị maka a na-abụbụ akpọpụtacha anyị nwekwara ihe na-ebekwa na-ebe mana this time around anyị chọrọ ka anyị kwụsị ihe ahụ ka anyị dịkwa ụtọ ahụ new heaven kwesịrị ịdị new heaven need to bounce back ọ ya maka m na-ekwu unu nkwa.
The outcome of the councillorship primaries in New Haven Ward 10 demonstrated the strong solidarity among party members, as the ward was filled with joy and celebration from voters, organizers, contenders, and the newly emerged winner. Chinemerem Ikebunam, reporting for Signature Television.
Chinemerem, we've listened to your report, and I noticed that there is this claim that there is a silent revolution within Party Faithful to turn things around so that progress can come there.
Yes.
Why were they saying that? After all, PDP has been ruling Enugu State for quite a long while. So why are they talking about a silent revolution trying to change things?
Okay, from the report I got in that particular New Haven Ward 10, they said that prior before the election, that's the 2023 election that brought in the governor of Enugu State in the person of Peter Mbah, that there had been this issue of, in fact, the ward did not win, PDP did not win from the ward because they had issues with their PDP leaders. So they opted for a revolution, a situation where people will come out to vote who they want. And I think if you date back, there was a report I did, the same New Haven, when that was 27th July when we had the PDP World Congress.
Congresses.
Yes, you saw people came in and voted a woman as their chairman. So in that particular ward, we have a PDP chairman as a lady in the person of Vero Anosike. So that thing alone brought people like other women to also come out and contest. So they believe that the ward is actually going out to bring out people that understands the plight of the New Haven people and also that understands their yearning in the sense of development in that area. So that was why they said they needed, that revolution is ongoing and they don't want an interference, maybe probably from the state government, to interfere with what is happening. And from what happened in that report, you believe that, or rather it was the people's choice that played out. In as much as some persons, some persons will say that they were one or two, like say Ojoro, like they would say, or something, but it was the people's choice because the first runner-up, the winner came out with, yes, the bearer came out with 347 votes, and that alone, and the second person was coming with, I think, 293 votes. Yes, so it's you can see the gap. So I think basically that's why they talked about the revolution and the rest.
Okay. I want to say thank you very much. I wish we could go on and on, but time wouldn't allow us to do that. I need to quickly reach out to Ndu Okpalaeze, who is in Anambra State, where we hear that people are reacting to the announcement of an election coming up on the 28th of September.
We have another one coming up tomorrow, also the local government election.
No, I'm talking of the one in Anambra. You are talking of
the one here in
PDP
Enugu.
organizing their congresses. Yeah. But I am talking of the one in Anambra State. Okay. Just today, you would remember that ANSEC announced that they fixed election for 28th of September.
Yeah.
And we have some aggrieved people saying that that is not how it should be in terms of democracy. Ndu,
hello.
I just said I must take you on because time is out.
Okay.
So just quickly give us an idea of the responses coming in from Anambra State concerning the local government election scheduled for the 28th day of September.
Okay, since yesterday, since the announcement by Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, headed by Chief Magistrate Genevieve, since that announcement came, people have been talking, especially the opposition parties, the core Blue Mother. For them, the sudden announcement and a very short period of time, we now allow them to consult, raise funds, do.
Hello? Hello?
Discover that the state government is also within the law, because the law was recently changed by the House of Assembly. There was an amendment cutting it short from 60 days to 30 days. So it is within the law. But even as the opposition is crying, if you come into Awka, the capital of Anambra State, you will begin to notice that even under 24 hours of that announcement, politicians are beginning to gather. They are meeting in groups of 10s and 20s and even more. Most joints in Awka today, we are hosting people who are discussing aligning and realigning forces. That is exactly what is happening. So activities are beginning to pick up to the extent that I want to say hundreds of people are beginning to show interest in picking the forms for councillorship and chairmanship of local government areas.
Thank you very much, Ndu. We'll be on again with Southeast News tomorrow, so I'm sure you will give us more information as it gets to you. This is Signature TV. Thank you very much for staying tuned to Southeast News. A better package comes your way tomorrow. Barry Kumado is my name. Thank you, Chinemerem, for being with me in the studio.
Thank you so much, Barry, sir. Bye.
All right.